Alright guys, this is the last video. Just hang with me for about 20 more minutes and then we'll be done with this. Please leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. In this video we're going to be going over the final little steps. We're going to get our tilt hooked up and get our foot pegs hooked up, and then we're going to test everything. Alright? Stay with me. 20 more minutes. We can do it. Thanks.
Alright, so now we're going to tackle the tilt. So this handle, when you pull it, will pull that paracord in the rear, which will bring the motor down. So right now, the position that it's in would be where you would want it when the motor is fully up, or when the motor is fully down in the water. So we're going to leave this here just the way it is, and then we're going to come to the back and we're going to add our carabiner to the paracord, and then we'll check our adjustments and see if that works. But basically the carabiner is going to snap in here so that when you want to transport the kayak and move the kayak, that's all you got to do to put it back on, is just snap it in there, and that's all you got to do to reconnect your tilt. Alright guys, so I figured out our length, and I've got us tied on to our carabiner. Make sure you leave enough length. Test it moving the motor sideways also, because that will eat up a few inches and you don't want to make it too tight and then have to redo that. I pretty much use heat shrink over everything just to protect my knots, keep everything solid, keep it looking somewhat tidy. Just make sure you don't get it too close to that paracord. Alright, so that's our carabiner for the tilt. Just going to click on there. And that's it. Enter release. Just pull in. Alright, so now we're going to move on to finishing up our steering. So I like to add a little safety cable right here that's going to hold our pin in case this pin ever falls out or anything like that. I've been on the water before and have to take this thing out, and be a real bummer to lose your pin in the middle of the day. So there's a hole right here on the Minn Kota. I'm going to use that. I'm going to put a couple Ferrule stops there, and then I'm going to go in there, and then we'll use our swagging tool to crimp them down, and then I'll throw some heat shrink over them. Alright, so we're down to about the final step. We just need to finish off our cables for our steering. I like to leave these pulled out about 1.5 inches. We'll cut them off, and then we're going to put our brass connectors in the end and then heat shrink over them so that these can't go back in the kayak at any time. Now, for the cables. So same thing, just like we did for the safety pin. We're just gonna loop it over, put a ferrule stop in there, and then heat shrink it. Now all we gotta do is feed them down to the foot pegs. So this is called a swagging tool. I believe Home Depot has them. And basically all it is a really big crimper. But it gets the stuff so tight that it's never going to come off. Alright, so now we just got to modify our foot pegs. So these are the locks that we're going to be removing. And to do that, on the Pescador, it's just, there's a little clip on the front. We just got to push it out. It's held in right there. Just gotta push on them really hard and they pop out. Then we're going to use those same holes and just thread our cables through them. Now, depending on, I guess, the length of your legs, you want to get in and figure out where your neutral position is, where the motor would be straight, and then figure out left and right as far as how far you want to push those pedals, because these can be adjusted. It's all depending on where you crimp these at. So if you're short-legged, you may be back here. If you're long-legged, you may be up here. But it only takes about 2 or 3 inches of push and pull to make this motor turn. What I've seen on a lot of kayaks is they have some big huge arms that stick out here that does their steering, and when you have something like that, then that means you have to really give it a lot of effort to make the motor turn. With these little short arms, you just barely give it a couple inches and this thing's going to turn. So you don't have to pick your whole foot up to make it turn. You're literally just, your heel is staying on the kayak and you're just pivoting it like you would a gas pedal. And the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to set this thing down and figure out where the pedals need to be positioned about. The owner of this kayak is, we're about the same height, so I should be okay to dial it in for him. I'm going to add some screws here on both sides just to give this thing a little bit more, make it a little bit more sturdy. For whatever reason, they didn't come with screws in those positions. And I'm going to add some screws just to make the tracks stay a little bit more sturdy. All right, guys, there we have it. Here's our steering. Tilt. And then our PWM at work. Reverse. And off. Tilt up. Tilt down. Go left. And right. So there you go. Mission complete. So guys, I made a few little changes that I don't believe made it into the video in the original segments. I changed out those panhead screws for countersunk screws. I added a eyelet over here to get a better angle for the tilt so that it falls into the clam cleat a little bit easier. And then I had to add some heat shrink to that tube right there because those clamps were not holding on to it tight enough. The clamps were a little bit too big for the hose. But other than that, I think we got everything covered. And so that's my tutorial, my do-it-yourself guide. If you guys are interested in any of this stuff, just let me know. Dennis, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it all works out good for you. All right, you guys, please subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you got any suggestions. And I hope you enjoyed it. All right, we did it. 5 videos. I went in depth as good as I could. I hope you guys appreciate it. It takes a lot of time making these videos. So hopefully it was up to everybody's standards. I don't know when I'll be coming out with another video. Probably depends on when somebody brings me another kayak to work on. But please like and subscribe. Trying to get my numbers up. So if you guys appreciate the videos, then subscribe. If it helped you out at all, subscribe. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you got any tips. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.